time. So how's everyone feeling so far? Okay, we're gonna get things to crank. I know we did our overview. I know a lot of teammates are tooled up and life is good. So we still got people getting tools, so I guess that's a good sign. I noticed there was a line out there. Everyone's like just tooling up right now. I'm sure a lot of people are grabbing those product brochures, right?
Oh, yes.
Those are awesome. So, we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, my part is almost done, which is cool. And then after that, I guess you could say I'm pretty much relieved for the day. And some people are like, yeah, you know. But of course, we have our main event, and right before we get into our main event, I want to make sure that we do some recognition. Because as I said, after my part's done, I'm going to hand off the stage, and I'll be taking notes and getting engaged just like everyone else is. So one thing I want to do is, I know we had our CEO here around a couple months ago, right? It's been a while. It's crazy how much time flies. Have you heard that saying before? It's like a cliche. And last I remember, he came in early February.
Yes.
Early February, whole month passes, and now pretty much all of March has passed. And it's been 2 months, we're here right now. And so from those 2 months, I want to at least recognize that people have title advances from them. And I'm hoping that it doesn't stop here with these title advancements. So Vern, are we ready to go? First off, with people that went gold status. So we have Casey Pimentel, Christina Vaughn,
Nice.
Chris Vittoriano, Marjorie Bartoloma, Mario, and Robert Frank. Right? So not too shabby. Gold status is a good title to get into. I tell teammates, strive to do it in your first week. Don't wait 2 months. Okay, I'll tell you, the biggest thing is creating your story. So if you are new to the business, I would really set that goal and say, you know what, Duke said do it in a week. Trust me, do it in a week. Everyone that I know that has made some serious money in the business, often, like 80% of the time, they will literally get that done in their first week. Okay, so from there, let's talk about some of the other titles here. And with the titles here, we're going from team lead all the way to manager. Now, that's a lot of names, so I'll be talking for a while, and the worst thing is if I cannot pronounce someone's name. Like, I'm looking at some of them where I'm like, which one's intimidating, you know what I mean? If we have people here, who here are new team leads? You've been a team lead the past 2 months. Team lead. All right, let's give them a round of applause. How about senior team leads? Any senior team leads here in the room? Senior team leads? All right, let's go ahead and move on to supervisor. I know people are still coming in, so any supervisors here? Supervisors? Let's give them a round of applause. How about senior supervisor? Senior supervisor? Senior supervisor? Now understand this too, when we have in this room, we also have people watching through the stream. Okay, so you got people through the stream, they're probably clapping for their buddy right now, you know what I mean? So from there, we have managers. All right, any managers here? I know we have managers here. There you go. Then we're going to move on to the higher titles. All right. From there, we got senior managers. We're going to go all the way to CEO today. Right. So senior managers. Any new senior managers? Senior managers. Again, they could probably be watching through the stream. Directors. Let's have new directors stand. We're new directors. How about senior directors? New senior directors? New senior directors. There you go. All right, how about now going on the vice president? Vice president? Yeah, you worked hard for this. Yeah, they're like, oh, you know, it's like, You gotta stand up.
You're a vice president.
That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to stand up and just breathe. That's what you do, okay? So we have now moved on to senior vice presidents. Stories there. Their senior vice presidents, amazing stories. You got Nico going to college, hanging in there. Kind of loves college, kind of doesn't, depends on his day. But he's a college student out in UC Irvine, building the business, yeah? Part-time. How old are you?
22.
22 years old. We have Eddie Lamb. Yes, Eddie Lamb. Eddie Lamb, if you saw, his background, he's worked in the tech industry, six-figure incomes, and it's for him, for what he does in that field. I mean, he has said it's not too hard for him to get a job in what he does. But he's seen so much craziness in his industry. And the craziest story, I mean, I've heard a couple of them, but the craziest one, he talked about it on Facebook, where his boss told him, look, we need to fire this whole group of people. And they had Eddie do that. So Eddie was the one that had to break the news to all these people that he's built relationships with. And then when that was all done and he fired every single one of them, the boss went and fired him. It's crazy. It's like, really? Right? They made him do all the dirty work, and then they took him out at the end. And yeah, that's like drama right there. And the reason being is because if they were all fired, then none of them could collect unemployment. So it was all done a certain way, and it just makes you think, wow, like some of these companies out there. And with that and everything he's seen, he's like, you know what? I need to be my own boss. I need to be my own boss. And I could see why. Like when I heard those stories, I said I could understand his persistence. I could see his persistence. So again, that's Eddie Lamb. From there, we have officer title Jason Lee. Jason Lee's like, you don't have to tell me how to stand. I'll breathe a couple times. I'll just stay up here and breathe. You know? Jason Lee, I've known him for quite some time as well. He's had a very good paying job as well. And he was like, I want to say it's like biotech, right? Biotech, dealing with, it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. It's like a hardcore petri dish, right? I don't know how to describe it, but his company dealt with a petri dish that is like unique in its field. I don't know, I cannot describe how it's unique, so I'm just going to say it's hardcore, okay? He dealt with all that, and you were the main, you were like in their marketing department in a way, am I correct?
Kind of. Yeah. All types. I put my hand in kind of everything.
He's just said, I did everything, you know, so he did everything. Again, paid very, very well. And when his title was a lot lower, he told me, now he's a UC Berkeley graduate. And he asked me, he said, dude, you know what? I mean, I work here in this job and it pays well, but it's just not something that I'm passionate about. And I go, well, how much does it pay? You know, he told me how much it pays. I believe it's getting towards the six-figure range, right? It's decent, you know, 5 and 6. And I said, you should keep it, you know. I told him, yeah, out of all people, you know, I know Mark is like, wait, you know, but no, this is what I told him. No, don't get me wrong, you know. I believe there's a time and place. There's a time and place because you're creating your story. You're creating your story, you're building yourself up, and you're working your business. And this is what I tell people, your job is for the bills, right? Business is for toys. And the reason why I say this is because it's derived from Jim Rohn. So this fighting style, so to speak, is more in Jim Rohn. If you've heard of Jim Rohn, he's a business philosopher. It's in his alley, where he used network marketing to fund the luxuries he couldn't have. Doesn't mean high luxuries, just like now I can go on vacation. Now I can go on vacation 2 or 3 times. Go for someone with a job to go on vacation a couple times a year. That will get someone's attention. And then after a while, they said, "How are you able to do that?" And Jim Rohn will always say, "I have this little thing going on. I have this little thing going on." And it came to a point where his income got so big, he goes, it just got ridiculous, and then that's when he quit his job. And I'm listening to one of his audios, and I didn't know this. Okay, Tang referred to. I thought I listened to all of Jim Rohn's stuff, and Tang had like the secret stash. You know what I mean? I never. Yeah. And he made Jim Rohn made $2.5 million back in his day. You gotta understand, back in the 60s, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money when gasoline was $0.25. And in his early 30s, he spent it all. When I heard that, I go, how do you spend all that? If I were to put in perspective, if you make $2.5 million and you blow all that, a Corvette fully loaded with everything back in Jim Rohn's day was $4,000. Exactly. Exactly. How do you go through 2.5 million like that? It must have been crazy. But anyways, you hear his story. Now, I was talking to Jason, as I said. And with Jason, I told him, hey man, you should just keep your job a little bit longer. And in a nutshell, he said, it's too late, I already quit it. I'm like, wait, what? For real? He's like, yeah, I was already over. I quit it. I put in my resignation. I go, crap, we got to make this thing work faster, you know? And, you know, in a nutshell, there's his story. And of course, you know, from there. And don't get me wrong, we're going to have a time and place where we can really, really give these stories. Then we have James and Becky. International ambassadors, like they just need like the Pomeranian, you know what I mean? But what I want to do is at least give them the mic, and if you two can, I know you present regularly, so but give your background and tell us how did that go on? I'm sure we have people in this room saying, I want to be a CEO one day.
Yeah.
What would be your top 2 or 3 things that you would give? But of course, again, as I said, give your backgrounds. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to give the mic over. He's asking how much time. What do you think? 5 minutes? How much time? How much time? Hour. How about in between 5 and 10?
Yeah.
7.5 good?
Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, I guess before we get into everything, how's everyone feeling today? Great! Sounds good. All right, so I apologize if we're running on like 30 minutes of sleep right now. Alright, so if we look a little bit cracked out, it's because we are. Thank God for Rejuvenex. We figured these Northern California trips, we actually came down early. It was like 5 p.m. we got here, but you still didn't sleep. You know, but of course, besides that, real quick, my name is James. This is Becky, my wife. We're both 26 years old right now, and we've been involved in network marketing together for around 6 years. Becky was my second recruit ever in this line of work.
Nice.
So we started as business partners, and then we didn't really go out or anything. We were in different relationships at the time, but then later on. But we have very similar backgrounds. Both of our parents are really traditional Asian types. Her mom was a medical, she was a PhD, MD, oral surgeon out in China. And my dad is a PhD research scientist out over here. My mom's a research scientist as well too. So we're both brought up under really traditional backgrounds. Just go to school, study hard, get your degree, be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Otherwise you go back to China or something. So we're brought up in that. So we were both very studious, went out there, and we both went to UC Berkeley. We studied biology over there, and the goal was to be some type of doctor. And around 19 years old, the biggest thing that we started realizing was that times are really changing these days. And that even for those that are well educated in terms of opportunity, it is so different now. People are graduating, especially in our generation, with like 6-figure debts, with little to no job opportunities, with a lot of stress. And we didn't really want that, so we're looking for other options, and that's when we fell into this line of work. And at first, though, I don't know about you guys, who here was pretty skeptical when you first saw this line of work? Yeah. All right, and I have to say, I think to this day, and I've met a lot of guests now, I think I'm still the most negative guest since the very beginning. You know, I was so negative to the point that I'm sad to admit this, but I actually stole products from the product display that day. I asked for it, you know. I asked for it in a unique way. I was in a fraternity in college, and fraternities are known for partying, you know. So we were in a different company in the previous venture. They had an energy drink. And I went up after the whole presentation. In my head, I'm like, hell no, never gonna be involved in this. If you're here, might as well be here. So get something out of it, right? So I went to the presenter that day and I said, hey, I see those energy drinks. I think I can market them really, really well to my fraternity because they need chaser, you know? And can I get a couple free samples? And they're like, sure. And they gave me like 3 or 4 cans. That was a lot of money too. Those cost a lot of money. And I said, I will never do this line of work ever because I just had my perceptions about it. But eventually what happened is I got linked up, and it was actually to L.Ac. And the biggest thing that I saw that, man, Elvis was a person that had extreme character and integrity. And I'm like, how can someone like that be doing something illegitimate, you know? And after that, went in and dove into this line of work. It got my feet wet and everything, got Becky on board. We were together working in that previous venture for a couple of years. But we never took it that seriously, and I think it was just because we still wanted to see what our degrees could do. Ended up graduating. Right when we graduated, that's when ARCS was born. And we said, you know what? Here is an opportunity to be a part of something new, big. Let's see what we can do with it, all right? The biggest thing was that we saw an opportunity to work more closely with Duke directly. And we said, you know what? If you're young and you got some time to do some risk, might as well go for it. So graduated, have my degree. Instead of going to medical school, Becky actually took her optometry test. She applied for optometry school. She was en route to getting accepted to them. And I had a job opportunity lined up for me as well for a Fortune 500 company management position. And we said, let's just give this a shot. And you know what? We got a chance and somehow ended up at the doorsteps, literally, of Duke's place. And I was very persistent, and I said, you know, and that's why I like network marketing, because if you can find someone that did it already and you just learn from them, you'll do well. It's that simple. And I somehow barged my way into his doors. That one night stay at his place turned around 3 months straight. And I learned the skills, learned the abilities, and since then, of course, me and Becky have been working in Northern California for the last 3.5 years, and of course, now considered CEOs in the company. So, if it came down to a couple tips, I think for anyone, this is what I've really realized this last couple months, this last couple years, is that in this business, who here wants to build this very big, all right? Or can make 6 figures, even 7-figure potential. The only way that I'm starting to really learn this now, and I know it's going to delve into even more, is the only way to become that successful is you need a lot of help. A lot of help, all right? So whether it's from your uplines, just making sure that you can work with them really well, and that you're the person that they love to work with. That you don't give them that much of a hard time, that you make sure that they like you, right? That you need a fantastic team. We couldn't have done this with our team. Our team, they're intense, man. They're probably all running on less sleep than us. Who here from our team is running on less than 2 hours of sleep right now? Zero. What's up? Yeah. 0. You know? And you have a hardcore team like that. And not only there, we have our SoCal team. You know, I know that Jason, Angie, Nico, they went out there. And you know what's amazing? We rarely see them, but they pulled for us like crazy for the CEO run. And we felt so blessed to do that. And it's just a big teamwork, collaborative effort, great founders as well. There's just so much that we just realized to get to that type of level, it's not your own effort, it's what can we all do together. You know, so it's realizing that, and when you realize that, you know, just making sure you treat people well, all right? You never know when you need their help out there. In terms of other, I don't want to hog all the mic, I know they're back. Do you want to chime in anything at all?
Come on.
I think for the ladies. And I really want to highlight, especially my wife. She is the rock behind this whole thing. Like seriously, I'm just like the face of everything. And I think Becky, she does so much behind the scenes that really is the harder work. She's the brains, all right. She is the strategist. She doesn't just do logistics and paperwork and stuff like that. She does the strategy. I just carry it out a lot of times. All right? And it's been ironic, during our last surrendering CEO and president, during the same week, she lost her voice so she couldn't present. But she used her brain the most, and she basically said, Dave, do this, and I just was in the field. My goal was to not come back home without any points. But I really want to have her talk because, man, I mean, after I got together with her, business tripled, you know? Nice. So I think a lot of that deals with what she does. So, of course, if you have any tips.
Yes. Well, there's so many things. I think one of the biggest things that helped us in this run, or if it's in relevance to the CEO promotion, was really just working together as a team, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. Because for myself, like I used to do presentations all the time before we got together, and after we got together, we started realizing that he's a lot better at doing the talking. And I'm a lot better at strategizing and making sure things are actually going through, he's more of a bigger picture type of person. I'm more of like a detail-oriented, small, I don't know the opposite of that. But so just knowing your weaknesses, knowing your strength, and how to work together as a team. And I always tell my teammates, like, you don't need a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a wife or a husband to do that. You can find a partner in business to be able to do that and blow up your business. So that's the main thing. Like, I guess you don't have to be good at everything, but highlighting your strength, but at the same time, find someone that can cover your weaknesses so you can improve on it. Not like use that as a crutch, but improving on it as you're working with them together. So that's probably one of the biggest things that helped us in this run, because CEO probably is one of our easiest promotion that we did, even though it's a lot more points than what we've ever done before. And I think the main reason is because we understood how to properly work together. Nice. Also, obviously, with our team, with our uplines and downlines and crosslines and all that
Thank you guys so much.
All right. Love to hear them give their 2 cents. The biggest thing I got from it was you find your significant other and your business should triple, right? That's what I'm just kidding. But having a balance, right? Whether it's a power couple, you heard from Becky, it doesn't necessarily mean having your significant other, just someone that you work well with. Right? I always call it the peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean? Someone that you work well with. Because you will encourage each other. If one person's down, the other person will pick the other one up. So it's always great, in essence, to have a buddy system. But you heard their success. And this is what I'll say, too, because this is what I was thinking. As they're up there, CEOs, and I just think about straight out that CEO check. Now, one thing I will tell you is that this business, one thing that James talked about is also having a great team. That as you're building your organization, of course you're getting customers, you're getting customer getters, but without a great team, it's really hard to truly excel and take things to a whole different level. Another aha I might as well add at the same token is one thing that I found peculiar. It's true though, I can completely agree with James and Becky on this. How is it that as higher the titles get, somehow they seem to be easier? And it's because of more experience. Does that make sense? It's kind of weird. How is it that the smaller titles, the lower titles, are harder to hit than the bigger titles? Because once you just kind of been around the block a couple times, you go, all right, we just know what we got to do this time. That's exciting, and I hope for some of us here that is encouraging. Maybe some of us here, your director run was a little tough. Maybe your vice president run was a little tough. But if you hear, maybe not take it from me, but take it from James and Becky. Maybe at this point the run should get easier. Okay. Now, I was thinking about this, as I said. Now keep in mind, there was a lot of hard work. And one thing I always like to stress is that to become successful, it will require some hard work. But what's great is this, because some people go, what's the big benefit? Well, I would think, what's the payoff? What's the payoff here, let's say, versus a job? If I were to work hard in a job, right, Jim Rohn will always say this, is that I would merely make a living. Work hard on yourself, with an opportunity, you can make a fortune. So if I'm going to work hard once in my life, I want it to be, why not make a fortune? Not to make a living. Now, this is what I wanted to add. I was thinking about their check, and I go, man, the matching bonus. I worked in companies for, prior to RX, 15 years, worked in other companies, where, as I said, I helped people develop their business, and there was no matching bonus involved. Now, for James and Becky, if you want to know, I only get 5%. I'm not complaining. You know what I mean? Better than nothing. Now, so you hear their upline, Elvis, okay? You would think, oh, Elvis gets 15%. No, Elvis gets 10%. There's another person. Some people go, who is that person? Exactly. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a negative sense. I know his name, I know him, okay? Does it make sense? But this is my point. He's not here. 15% of a 4,000 base check, what is that? He got paid $600 for that run. You know, as I said, he's not here, but I see pictures of him snorkeling. I see what he's up to on Facebook. Does that make sense? Remember what I said. Let's say, what if I can't do this line of work? What if you know the person that can? And if you heard with James and Becky, you heard with James, he was negative. He went in and got freebies that were not supposed to be free. You know, I was talking to Steve, brought someone today named Mark, okay? We were just chatting for a little bit, and I know he's done very well in the industry. I know he does well. And you know what he said? And I thought this is, again, 1,000% true. Okay, and he says, as long as you're a great inviter, you can do extremely well here.
Exactly.
All right?
Key.
Great inviter. He didn't say presenter. He didn't say opener.
Hello.
A great inviter. See, that person that went snorkeling invited James. Does that make sense? And as long as he was great at that, he's getting a 15% match every single week. Elvis gets 10, not too shabby. And I want to say this in perspective. I hope people know, I'm saying all this because 3 years ago, who would have thought? 3 years now, I would have to say, as an organization, at RX as a whole, is starting to flex. You know what we were doing the first 3 years? Pacing ourselves. Give some time, let the company establish themselves. Give some time, let the company bring out more products. Because they only had 4 products when they first launched, and they were all vitamins. You know what I mean? And this company's going to launch at least 5 more products this year. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's at least 5. Right? RX added, 2 to 3 more bonuses since we first started. How cool is that? Usually most companies do the bells and whistles with comp plan right out the gate. RX purposely said, no, we got a couple bonuses, we're just not throwing it out there yet. 3 years. 90% of companies fail within their first 3 years. This company's past that hump. You know, I'm hanging out with James and Becky, you see what they have. And I wanted to say, Elvis is my last statement, and I'm pretty much done for the day. And then I get to take notes, and I'll tell you, how was I able to be on the stage one day? Straight out, because gotta understand this, at one point in time, I was in one of these chairs. And it was the mentality, man, what do I expect myself to become? And am I willing to put in the work? But just know, at one point in time, I was in the same chair you were in. But this was so cool because, again, with James and Becky, they're doing what they're doing. And Elvis, they're both CEOs. Elvis came in yesterday to the house, and he's just like looking at things. And you know what he told me? He's looking for a new car. You want to know what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's the brand is 2 words, both letters. Okay, each word starts with an R. He was looking into that, and he told me, he goes, "I'm approved." He's going, well, Phantom is 4-door, big. But he's like, I'm young, and I am, I'm finding my love. Before he has a baby, he goes, I want to go sporty. He's going for the 2-door rate. That's what he's looking at. And I'll tell you, the reason why I'm saying this right now is because I was looking at this and I thought to myself, I'm happy for him. Extremely happy for him. But I'm thinking to myself, man, that matching bonus must be real awesome. You know what I mean? Because right after James and Becky go CEO, he's like, I'm shopping now. I'm shopping. So last statement, and I'm done, is what if that story can be yours in a year? In 2 years? In 3 years? Keep in mind, it's not something that just falls on our lap. We got to put in some work. If there's one thing that we have to do, at least, okay, it doesn't have to be presenting. If you notice, there are people here that are willing to present. There will be people here willing to talk to your guest afterwards. If you're like, I don't know what to say to my guest, don't worry, you have people that are willing to help. But one thing that why not learn the skill is become a great inviter. Right? So I'm done with my portion. Now the main event. And they will be coming up here how they feel they want to.